Hi there, my name is Jess Bonasso, otherwise known as the Self-Care Goddess. And today what I want to talk about is why your money story might be leading you into burnout. So here's the thing. Everyone has their own money story, okay? We know this. Whether you've been born with a silver spoon in your mouth and money is no object, or you were raised in poverty conditions, we all have our story about what money means to us and what it represents in our life. And that story is something that can actually lead to burnout. Now, sadly, I believe that women in particular are at a greater disadvantage than men to struggling with burnout when it comes to their money story. And I want to explain a little bit about that. When women entered the workforce back in the mid 1900s, we were fighting for equality. And so we were coming into the workplace with the need to prove ourselves, to prove our value, and to prove our worth. And let's face it, being in the workforce, there's a lot of masculine energy going on in the workforce. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have to be action-oriented, task-oriented, goal-oriented, task-oriented. I think I said that twice, but it's true. And in order to be good at all of those things, you have to be really good at being in a single focus mode of attention. And for women in particular, our default way of focusing our attention is what's known as diffuse awareness. Our awareness and our attention pours in all directions. And so it's not a bad thing. It's actually one of the things that makes us really good at multitasking and, taking care of multiple things at once. But being in the workforce, what happened is we became masculinized. We were encouraged to act like, think like, even dress like a man. There's an old Anjali perfume commercial that says you can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan. And it talks about this woman who's like wearing a suit basically, and she's got a frying pan in her hand frying up bacon. And the whole idea was you can go to work, you can make money, and then you come back home and you take care of your family, and you can be that Wonder Woman. And this was a message that kept getting further and further ingrained into women. Now, men are also seeing this programming and conditioning, and so they're expecting the women in their lives to be able to do it all, right? You got to provide for our family along with me, and you got to come home and take care of everything else. Now, over the years, equality rights or equal rights have really helped men see that women need help and support on the home front. We have a lot more men these days than ever before who are helping out with all the unpaid labor that's going on the home front. But at the end of the day, if that unpaid labor is not being handled in an equitable, fair way, 9 times out of 10, women are going to be at a greater disadvantage for burnout. And there's going to be a belief system underneath all of that of a lot of lack and scarcity, not enough time, not enough energy, not enough support, not enough resources, not enough money, And so what happens is these feelings, these beliefs of lack and scarcity affecting women start to have a trickle effect on their men, right? And so now you've got both men and women dealing with these lack and scarcity stories, these money stories. And so what happens is it creates conflict when you are in partnership. I know a lot of my relationships over the past couple of decades, believe it or not, a lot of the problems that we had circled around money stories and what a person's value and worth was when it came to the unpaid labor. I even remember reading a book called The Second Shift in college that talks about how couples were managing equality on the home front. And it's very different from one couple to the next. So anyway, my point is that we all have money stories, and women in particular, I think, are really predisposed and sort of been masculinized in this culture to be the provider as well as the caretaker. And we're dealing with burnout in record fashion. It's actually become quite an epidemic and became an actual diagnosis in the World Health Organization's handbook for diagnosing diseases back in 2019, May of 2019. So it really has become more prevalent than ever before. And men too are being affected by this because, as I said, you've got men coming in who are wanting to help out and support the women in their life. And so now they're taking on more than they ever have before. And we've got so much, we're producing so much, we're doing all the time, and we're never spending enough time taking care of ourselves. And the reason for that is because the underlying core beliefs, everything's revolving around money, right? We've got to make enough money. We've got to provide for our family. Whatever it is that your story is, 9 times out of 10, there is probably a component of that story that's going to lead you into burnout. And so it's really important that you really look at and own your money stories and figure out what your money story is. And my invitation to you, in order to figure out what your money story is and maybe start to unravel that a bit for yourself, is just to become aware, right? The more consciousness and the more awareness we have around what our beliefs actually are, the better. So the first thing you can do is just sit down and think about, what did your parents used to say about money when you were a kid growing up, or your family? What were the rules around money? Did you have restrictions on how much you could spend, or could you spend as much as you want? And money was no object. And so really looking at, what are the belief systems I've formed that were passed on from my parents, my family of origin, or the people that raised you and took care of you, whatever that is. And then the other thing that I would like to invite you to do is to take a look at what your relationship is to 3 different areas of abundance, right? The first area is in the area of giving. When it comes to giving money, time, and energy to other people, what stories do you tell? Do you look at it from a limitation place? I don't have enough money to give. I don't have enough time to give. There's not enough, right? So go in and look at the stories you have around giving, or maybe you're really good at giving, but you're not so good at receiving, right? Receiving would be another area of abundance for you to look at. So giving, look at that area. Look at the area of receiving. How good are you at receiving? Is there restriction? Is there guilt? Is there anything in your body that feels icky when you're receiving gifts or money or time or energy from somebody? And then the third area of abundance that you want to look at is, how good are you at, once you've received abundance into your life, do you just give it right back out? Or are you able to nurture that abundance and foster it and grow that abundance? Are you able to sustain that abundance? In other words, are you saving any of it for yourself for later, right? And so this would be a financial advisor's dream, because that sustaining portion is all about, are you just taking money in and then sending it right back out to the world? Or are you taking it in and keeping some to hold on to and grow and sustain, and then sending the rest back out into the world? Like, really look at your relationship with those 3 areas of abundance. Again, giving, receiving, and growing or sustaining abundance. So anyway, I hope you find this helpful. Remember that whatever your money story is, it's just a story. It's not who you really are. A lot of it comes from our programming and our conditioning. And at the end of the day, you have control over your story. And if you are tired of living your money story the way that it currently stands, and it's leading you into burnout, that probably means you need some support. And so, I've had my own money story over the years. I still have trickles of it that happen from time to time. I'm human, just like you, but I can tell you this, I've got a lot of tools in my tool belt for helping you break through any money blocks that you might personally have. And so I hope you'll, if you're on my website watching this video, check out my Raving Fans testimonials. You can see there's several testimonials there about the work that I've done, especially around abundance with clients. And anyway, I just, I'm here for you if you need it. So if you need to sign up for a discovery consult, and I can talk to you more about your money story and see if there's a way that I can help you with that. Because the work that I do can really help you get to the cellular root cause of that money story, do some clearing work around it, and then help you create magic in your life. So if you want to accelerate your abundance, bring more prosperity, ease, and flow in, reach out to me today. All right. Take care. Have a great day. And remember to embrace your greatness, because my golly, you are so worth it.